you have no idea how excited I am to finally have this in my collection. It came out years ago. I was never a Halo fan. I was always a PlayStation boy. But then I saw the TV series, and then I saw gameplay, and then I saw this, that, and the other, and I thought, you know what, let me get one in.
This is another Airsoft Mike production.
The MA5B individual combat weapon system was one of the default weapons used by the UNSC Marine Corps and Navy throughout most of the Human Covenant War. It quickly became known as the Halo rifle, thanks to its most famous handler, Master Chief Petty Officer John 117, who was part of the Spartan II Super Soldier program, who also went on to use other weapons including the MA5C. Honorary mention to his AI assistant Cortana. Hey Cortana, we should catch up sometime.
Nice to meet you.
Although this rifle was a fantasy concept, inspired by similar platforms in the real and fantasy world, various real-world iterations have since surfaced. Not famed for its accuracy at long range, but powerful in CQB, let's see if this Airsoft version is faithful to its Halo TV and gaming counterpart.
Oh wow! Look at this beauty! Man, this is bigger than I expected. So, there's your mag. So you also get a little adapter so you can use a Dean's battery if you wish, and a little baggie of BBs. And yes, the elephant in the room, or should I say Spartan in the room, look, your boy Master Chief is showing you how many batteries you need to run this bad boy. Well, technically you only really need 2, but if you want the full effect, come on, put all 3 in. Now, I've got to say this thing packs some weight. Now, to be fair, it's not that heavy, but it is heavier than I expected. It packs over 4 kgs. Now, let me just put the mag in to complete that picture. By the way, you can see where the BBs are fed from. That goes towards the rear. Now, as I already showed you, it takes 3 batteries. So let's get them in now before I even start on this thing, okay? So you will need a AAA for the flashlight. You will need a 9-volt for your digital display, the counter for the rounds, nice. And of course the main battery for the AEG. So let's sort the flashlight out first. And of course, no instruction manuals, of course not. It's Airsoft. But anyway, here we go. Pop that in there. Spring loaded. Cool. So that confirms that I have the battery the right way around. And right there's your on and off switch for the flashlight. Quick test. Decent. Right, let's get the main battery in, which will be housed down there. And you can see how that will be released by just pushing down on that little tab lever there. And of course, to keep it simple for this video, I will use a LiPo, but one with a Tamiya plug. But as you saw earlier, you can use a Dean's battery if you wish. And what I love about this design, naturally, on the real version, that's your magazine, but this will just be your housing for the battery. But look, it's got that nice little slot right there that literally, I don't know if this is just luck, fits this battery pack perfectly. Get in. Right, John, one more battery, the 9-volt. And to get that in, you just pull off this rubber butt pad on the back, and that's where you put this. And it's quite neat how it goes in, literally made to measure. Nice. Right, here goes. Let's see if this bad boy powers up. So here's your power button. Not only is this your power button, it also serves as your fire selector switch. Now this is all electronic, okay? So if I press it once, look at that. In fact, bring the lights down. Look at that bad boy. You can see the green light that's on the other side of the rifle reflecting off the backdrop there. But, look at that. And remember, this came out years ago. And back then, this thing cost about £600 or £700. I think it's come down a little bit now. You could probably pick one of these bad boys up for around the, I don't know, 5 to 600, something like that. But anyway, that power button that I showed you, if I press it once, it will show you SF. That's for single fire, so that's your single shot, semi-auto. If I press it again, that's for full auto. I absolutely love how this looks. Now the elephant in the room here is that it has no iron sights, nothing. Now if you're familiar with Halo, you will know you don't need sights on this. This is supposed to be futuristic. The actual targeting system or the sights for this is inside that bad boy. Yes, inside Chief Master's helmet, there's a HUD, heads-up display. Now, although this has 95 rounds on the display, the magazine, by the way, there's your mag release. The magazine, as mentioned before, is a 160 round mag. Love the rubber base it's got there. Now, it is a high cap, so you have got that wheel. And take note, I love that when you take the mag out, the counter resets to 0. And another cool feature is that if you left this on, say I didn't turn it off again, it has an auto power down mode. So I'm going to leave it like that whilst I fill the mag up, and at some point you should see that turn off. Nice. See, it's powered down. So let me get the mag in. Let me just turn it on first. Now, I haven't got the full studio lights on because I really want you to appreciate what's going on here. I will turn them up in a moment. Just want to remind you again, when you put the mag in, where the BBs are fed, it goes towards you, not towards the front, which is what we're normally used to in Airsoft. And look, 95 rounds, ready to rock. Right, so before I take my first shot and see if this counter works, I've turned it off by the way while I show you this. Right there is your safety switch, and right there is that awesome looking trigger. So let me turn it back on. Nice, you see the counter? I tell you what, let me dump the mag. Hold on. Nice. Now what I love about this, trying to keep it as real as possible, is that the magazine isn't empty. What it does, it will replicate as if your magazine is empty, so when it goes down to 0, it stops firing. Nice. And then all you have to do is release the mag, put it straight back in again, and the counter will reset to 95. Although you won't have 95 rounds left in the mag. Remember, it's a 160 round mag. But hey, come on, you can always just top the mag up again with more BBs. Now it goes without saying that this bad boy isn't for your serious airsofter. This really is geared towards collectors like me, those who like sci-fi looking guns, and if you're a fan of Halo. But yeah, it's more of a cosplay thing whilst playing Airsoft. Rumour has it does about 300 FPS. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's about right. Around the 300 mark. Let's have a quick look at the average. 313. Actually, round that up. 314. let's give you some full auto love. You can round that up to about 12 rounds per second. Ew, no thanks. Now remember, this has no sights on there, so wish me luck. Once I've done the accuracy test, I'll come back and show you the construction side of it, and then that'll be it. I absolutely love this. Beautiful piece. I guess I could use the heads-up display in my helmet. Yeah. Yeah, thanks HUD. I'm joking, there was no heads-up display. But pretty decent. Obviously my first couple of shots, you know, all over the place. But eventually...
Perfect.
Hold on, I should have taken this off ages ago. Anyway, so what do I love about this thing? What do I not so much love about it? Well, I love how solid it feels. It's got a decent weight to it. It doesn't feel cheap at all. I absolutely love that all of this down here, in fact, practically almost all of the lower is this really deluxe sort of rubberized texture you've got here. Very comfortable to hold. The top here, this section here, this sort of lighter, what is that? Would you say that's grey? Okay, well that there, that feels like resin, okay. Of course you've got your metal barrel there, but this part here would be sort of like your standard polymer construction. But again, I'm loving that whole deluxe solid rubberized feel you have on this platform. It probably would have been an even nicer touch if they made the cheek rest rubber, but they didn't. But anyway, the nice little sort of bezel or frame around the display, that's rubberized too, nice. Loving these little sort of gold accents here on these metal parts. There, look like nuts. And of course, it goes without saying. In fact, let me just turn it around. Love, love, love the authentic lighting system that it has there. Loving these green lights. Of course, it does have hop-up adjust right there. A nice simple sliding mechanism. And of course, once again, there's your safety button right there. And that's where we come to something I'm not too hot on. I don't like it. It works, but you've got to be mindful not to over travel with that button, because you can literally push it in a bit too far and then what you'll find is it won't work. You've got to have it at that sweet spot right there. Okay, so it's either that way or like that. But to be fair, it's a solid button. It doesn't feel loose. You've got to give it a good old push to function with it. But again, you could push it too far. Other than that, come on. Another cool thing I've got to mention to you, just in case you're wondering, now if you are an airsofter, you know, when you go in the safe area, well, before you get in the safe area, you're supposed to release the mag and then fire to make sure there's nothing left in the chamber. But when you take the mag out of this bad boy, again, I love that rubber base it has. But anyway, when you take the mag out of this bad boy, the whole idea is it doesn't fire. But there's a workaround. Inside the mag well, towards the front, there's a little sensor button or switch. That detects the mag when you put it in, which will enable this to fire. All you got to do is get your finger in there, you can feel where it is, press it in, and it will fire. Nice! But if I let it go, and I try and fire again, nothing. Decent. Oh yeah, back to this Snow Wolf thing. Now I know it's Snow Wolf, but if you go online, certain sites, they have it under the brand ACM. Other sites have it under the brand CCCP. Other sites have it under the brand Snow Wolf.